In 2013, an American entrepreneur decided to take part in the SharTank program, trying to get funding for an invention he had created. However, all the sharks turned him down, arguing that the project had no growth potential and wasn't worth what he was asking for. 5 years later, this entrepreneur not only successfully commercialized his invention, but managed to sell his company to Amazon for more than $1.5 billion. The protagonist of this story is Jamie Siminoff, who was born in 1976 in New Jersey, USA. From a very young age, Jamie was always building things for his daily life, and when a need arose, he found a way to solve it in an ingenious way. He also had a strong passion for business and sales, which is why he moved to Massachusetts after high school to study business administration. By the time he finished his studies in 1999, the rise of the internet and the big Silicon Valley companies had taken over the entire United States. This motivated him to try his hand at entrepreneurship in the sector. His dream was to create a successful technology-based company. With this dream in mind, he moved to Santa Monica, California. All the software development and entrepreneurship events and programs in the city were registered there. For several years, he had been working on an interesting program that converted voice into text. The idea came to him one day when he received an urgent call and had no way of writing down the information he received in the conversation. So he thought that if he could say the words to the computer and write them down, his life would be much easier. So in 2003, at the age of 27, he founded a company called Simulscribe. The software he developed over the years became very successful, and soon his company grew from a one-man operation to 50 employees. The speech-to-text application was sold mainly to service providers who needed to efficiently record the information provided by their customers on every call. Thanks to his success, in September 2009, Jamie signed a deal with a company called Dish Network to license and distribute his software worldwide. But Jamie didn't stop there. He knew that his invention could have other uses, and with the rise of mobile devices, he thought about implementing it in them to make people's lives easier. So he created SharTank, a mobile application that allowed voicemails to be converted into text messages. Users who couldn't answer a call because they were too busy would receive the call information as a text message on their cell phones. The application was moderately well received, although it had support for many services and devices. Very few people found any real use for it, so it soon became part of the portfolio of services offered by his previous company. Jamie, with great determination, once again used his creativity to invent a new product, hoping that this time he would be able to achieve his long-awaited success. In 2010, he created Unsubscribe, a web application that allowed users to unsubscribe from unwanted and annoying email lists with just one click. The system automatically detected all the lists to which the user's email address was subscribed and sent a secure unsubscribe request. The idea was a total success and managed to attract the attention of several Silicon Valley companies. Even Tim Ferriss himself, author of the bestseller The 4-Hour Workweek, decided to support the idea and took part, together with Jamie, in an investment round, in which they raised $2.1 million in capital to continue developing the service. At first, everything went well, but major changes in email systems and privacy policies in some companies made the service obsolete in a short time, so they decided to sell the company to Trusted ID, an identity protection services company. This was a big blow for Jamie, who, far from profiting from the sale, was left with a large amount of debt and serious financial problems. Fortunately, his company, Simulscribe, allowed him to survive for a while, but things only got worse, as the technological world was changing very quickly and better apps were hitting the market, making text messaging more effective. In 2013, Jamie had to declare bankruptcy and close his company. Although he was devastated, he didn't want to give up. So he took his savings and set up a small office in the garage of his house. There, day after day, he came up with new ideas for applications that could solve relevant problems. A few years ago, he had already created a device with a camera, a microphone, and a doorbell that could connect to the internet and transmit to the phone who was at the front door. Initially, this system was used by himself to communicate with delivery men or visitors to the garage without having to open the door, but he eventually realized that this simple device could be of interest to more people. So he focused all his efforts on developing this new product, which he called Doorbat. Confident in the product's potential, he mortgaged his house for $364,000 and used this money to create a prototype, which would be launched months later via a website. The product was well received, achieving a successful pre-sale of around $1 million. However, Jamie didn't have enough capital to cover the enormous costs of producing the units in demand, so he was forced to seek investment to continue with the project. After much persistence, in the 5th season of the popular program SharTank, his idea was to mass-produce the first Wi-Fi video doorbell that would let people know, via any mobile device, who was knocking on their door, even if they weren't at home. The product had a security system to prevent it from being easily stolen and, if this happened, Durbut promised to send the buyer a replacement. The retail price of the device was $199, and it cost just over $80 to manufacture. After presenting his proposal and asking for $700,000 for 10% of the company, some of the program's sharks rejected his project and others offered unattractive proposals. Yami left the venue disappointed with what had happened. She decided to go ahead with the project because she felt it was her last chance to fulfill her dream and create something incredible. If she stopped, she could lose her home. And with a 5-year-old son, the only thing she could do was keep trying. Fortunately, it didn't matter how mentally challenged he was to keep going. Fortunately, even if he didn't get a contract with SharTank, appearing there represented excellent publicity for his company. The exposure brought him closer to the public, gave the project credibility, and allowed him to learn some great business lessons in the following weeks. Jamie focused on restructuring the business model, reducing production costs, and seeking deals with major retailers such as Best Buy, Amazon, and Target. She also rethought her company's mission, focusing on improving security, and changed the company's name to Ring, which she considered a simpler and easier name to remember. All these adjustments meant that the following year the company reached sales of $3 million. But in 2015, they managed to break into large stores such as Home Depot, Target, and Best Buy. They also developed a complete line of home security products, closing the year with sales of $5 million. The company's huge success attracted the attention of billionaire Richard Branson, who was surprised after a guest on his private island used Ring to check, thousands of kilometers away, that his house was in perfect condition. Branson knocked on Ring's door and, without hesitation, invested $28 million for 5% of the company. Ring accelerated its expansion plans in the United States and began making sales abroad. By the end of 2017, Ring had 1,300 employees, 10 products, 16,000 stores, and a valuation of $1 billion. Thanks to these figures, it caught the attention of other investors, such as basketball player Shaquille O'Neal, who bought shares in the company and became the face of the brand. He received an offer from e-commerce giant Amazon and, after extensive negotiations, agreed to sell Ring to Jeff Bezos' company for more than $1.5 billion in February 2018. When the sale was finalized, Jamie received a total of $350 million, while Richard Branson received around $200 million. When the news of Ring's sale reached the SharTank producers, they decided to invite Jamie back to enhance the program, but this time to participate as an investor, becoming the first entrepreneur to go from project presenter to shark. Today, Jamie Siminoff is 46 years old and sits on the board of Ring and 3 other companies he has invested in over the years. This brings to a close the inspiring story of Jamie, a visionary entrepreneur who, despite many setbacks, never gave up on his goal of creating a successful company that would make people's lives easier. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep enjoying our videos.